welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. In this children's trading card game video, I drink coffee because it's first thing in the morning, and we talk about the Dark States. So, we're going to be talking through the Dark States starter deck, and I'm basically just going to be giving my thoughts, opinions on the card. If you haven't seen how these things are going to be structured, please check out the card in the top right-hand corner, which will link you to my Start Deck 1 review on Yu Yu Kondo, which I think was quite a good video. And you can go check out, see my thoughts there, and come back here. So that's the sitch. Let's get started. First, we've got Diabolos Innocent Matte. So this is, of course, our starter. When it's read upon, if you want a second draw a card, this is a very standard ability, kind of whatever. Sort of looking to replace this with a better alternative as ASAP, but it is what it is. Next, we have got Diabolos Bad Steve. So this has auto. When it's placed on Vanguard, choose a card from your soul, call to the back row, soul charge 1. Excuse me. And continues on rear. If you're in Final Rush, it gets plus 5k. So for the Vanguard Circle skill, it's fine. It's going to get out a booster immediately. So you obviously you ride this to the mat, you move mat out, you soul charge 1. Is that valuable? Potentially. I think right now it feels very vanilla and boring, but I can see potential in future for some more spice, especially with the grade 2 as we move more towards that kind of Pale Moon style and away from just Ugga soul charge. Then maybe these things will be a little more interesting and useful. At the moment, the purpose of this is essentially going second, you laugh, because like going first, you get to Final Rush very quickly, so you're pretty happy. Going second, you ride this, you move your booster out, you've drawn another card because you went second, you swing with it, and that's pretty good. And if you hit the over trigger, GG, GG, GG. So that's Steve. Let's talk about Richard. So Diabolos Anger Richard, and this is also pretty good. When it's placed on Vanguard, you can put a rear into your soul to draw a card. So the flow of this is pretty obvious. Ride, move starter out, swing with them, and then ride grade 2, move starter back in, plus card to hand. And you also get a bonus soul charge as a part of that, just for doing, the game mechanics of riding. So that's pretty good. And of course, if you're in Final Rush, this unit gets plus 5k. So I'm going to talk about that 5k for both now. Ignoring the conditions for Final Rush, these units getting 5k is very, very nice, because that is going to rip an additional card out of your opponent's hand. If you have a column with both of them, that's going to be a 28k column, which is going to be very annoying to guard. That's at bare minimum going to be 2 cards, and your opponent's probably not going to want to PG it, so that is a very, very annoying attack to guard. So in Final Rush, this is pretty good. It's making some nice columns. So yeah, I think those are both pretty powerful. I will say, again, it is very vanilla, and yes, whilst 5k is not bad, I will say for both of these, I imagine kind of the second we get something better, more likely for Richard than for Steve, because 13k boosting is pretty good. That will scale pretty nicely with grade 2s if you and if you get grade 3s that can also boost themselves up a bit. But having a 13k booster is nice. This is probably more likely to stay in the deck than Richard is. Moving into the future, of course. Right now, I think they're probably both going to be quite staple. Then we've got Diabolus Violence Bruce. And here is your boss monster, and it's a very simple skill. At the start of your ride phase, you Final Rush, so you have to ride this, and then the next turn, you will enter Final Rush. When this unit attacks, if you are in Final Rush, Soul Blast 5, stand on your front row rear guards. So, very, very simple the concept here is really simple. You go into it, you Final Rush, you got your 28k columns or whatever, you swing with front rear for 18, swing with other rear for 18, swing with Bruce, Soul Blast 5, restand both of those. Pretty simple. And of course, if you've Persona Road that turn, which, given that this is a turn 4 mechanic, you really want to for that really, really aggressive push, then you're looking at, 28ks with just the grade 2s, followed by, 33ks? 43ks? No, 41ks, because it's only a 13k booster. Which is, no. It's 28, 38. It's 38. It is 48. Sorry. yeah, 38 and 48 when you're in Final Rush and with Persona Ride. So, you know, those are big numbers. Those are very scary numbers. You know, the Persona Ride is going to tip this over the edge in terms of that turn 4 being really, really scary. And, you know, it's a powerful skill. Soul Blast 5, well, you know, let's do some counting. You've got your starter, your grade 1, your grade 2. You've got your additional soul charge from your grade 1. And if you have Persona Road, that's 5. So essentially, all you'll really need to do in this deck is mulligan for Bruce and a board. A board, basically. Because then you'll be Persona riding and doing the Final Rush turn 4 immediately. So that's quite nice. Very, very consistent. Should happen pretty much every game. You know, if you're mulliganing appropriately and if you're playing the deck, you know, decently, you can expect this skill to go off. So I think it's a powerful skill. Again, I'm not going to talk about the boost set support here, which is very, very powerful. But just, you know, in isolation here, very solid. I expect, because this is such a blanket, generic, kind of very simple skill, it's very easy to build on top of with powerful rear guards that can really take advantage of this, because at the moment it's very, very simple and boring. Just, you know, oh, good, it's 5k. But the fundamentals here are very strong, so moving on into the future, I think we're going to see some really, really strong support for it. Onto the support pieces within the start deck. First, you've got Time, Fissuring Fist, Colossus. This is auto when placed on rear, it's Soul Charge 1. Then if you are in Final Rush, Counter Blast 1 and it gets 15k. So if you're in Final Rush, this will immediately be 28k on its own, which is obviously quite nice. Slap the 13k booster behind it, and it's going to be 41k, which is obviously not quite as nice, but you know, it is what it is. Obviously 51 with a Persona Ride, so you know, still very scary, but I think kind of, you know, the thing is, it's fine. I think you probably play this right now, it seems okay, because you really don't counterblast very much at all. So counterblasting 1 to gain 15k in Final Rush seems fine. You just hold this until that Final Rush turn. You feel fine intercepting with your grade 2s if you're just going to slam this down. You know, it's a slightly awkward number because it's not quite the next magic number of 53, but there it is. Next you got Icicle Iron Iso. This is just 10k vanilla, so it's total garbage. Next you got Steam Gunner Brody. When it's placed on guard, you can counterblast 1 to make it a 10k shield. Normally I would go, this kind of sucks. This is probably worth using because, you know, thinking about grade 2, a 10k shield can be quite valuable when your opponent's on grade 2. That typically swing for an 18 or something. So if you can make that just counterblast 1, drop this, and that attacks guarded, that's quite good. Later in the game, this is going to scale pretty poorly. We're seeing an overdress. The numbers are, you know, an additional 5k shield is. For Counterblast 1, is probably not going to be the thing that swings. You're going to be dropping, you know, bigger shields on most of these things, like an Overtrigger or a PG on some of these very big numbers. So this is less likely to be super impactful. However, again, this deck counterblasts so little that you just probably play this because, you may end up just dropping 2 counterblast 2 to guard 20k, which feels bad, but it might just keep you alive. It seems fine. For now, sure. Next we got Acrobat Presenter. When this attacks or boosts, if your Vanguard is a Diabolus Violence Bruce, Soul Charge 1, and if you're in Final Rush, Soul Charge another one. Again, as I just said, it doesn't really, it's going to come down to how consistently can that one Final Rush turn just win you the game. Because the deck is entirely capable of just getting the soul charge it needs very easily without needing to run these additional soul engines. So at that point, it's going to be a matter of, do I need to do it again the next turn? Am I going to have to perform 2 Final Rushes, which is, of course, you know, it's Final Rush, but there we go anyway. Now, if you do, then this is going to be a very useful card because it is a guaranteed soul charge 1 to 2. Which means, you know, if you've got 2 of these on board, yeah, you're going to be getting that Final Rush again on the subsequent turn. One of these is going to make it a lot easier, and you've got a few other ways of soul charging, so it certainly is possible. That's just going to be something that's going to come down to testing. But if the initial push is aggressive enough that you kind of don't really need to worry about it, you only really want to focus on that one push, then this is less good. If it's, if decks in the game are actually surviving that push, then you're probably going to need some of this. This is going to be RPG, so obviously staple 4 of. Nice art, smile. And Brother's Soul is our order, and it's just a very, very boring Soul Charge 2. This feels a lot more important in Baramagnes than it does in here. I don't know, man. Like, again, it really just feels like, basically, if you're going to need to be final rushing, like, basically every turn, then this is quite important. But it feels kind of bad to be playing cards like this when they don't really, I personally, I'm not a fan of these big, Soul Charge 20 decks or whatever, because you're just going to be Soul Charging your triggers. Like, it's just going to happen. And that feels pretty bad. Especially with over triggers existing, the amount of times you just Soul Charge an over trigger. Boom. But yeah. So overall opinions, I think this is a very, very solid foundation for the start deck. It's got some tools that can be useful depending on how the meta shakes up to be, but it's a very strong foundation. And I think it's essentially, you can only build up from here. It does a lot, and it looks quite strong. So if you guys found this video useful today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more Vanguard content, and leave your comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Have I over/undervalued some of these cards? I'm interested in your thoughts. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be on Start Deck 3 featuring Bastion. See you then. Cheers.